Joining me from Washington, D.C. to help me make sense of it all, Assistant Director of Communications for the Marijuana Policy Project. Woo! Dan Bernath is here. How are you, Dan? Welcome to The Loop, sir.
Hey, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. I want to get to the bottom of this because I know that recently Amsterdam shut down a fifth of its cannabis cafes that were located near schools, which is a total recess bummer for a lot of the students there. But what happened this past weekend? Did they just expand the shutdowns?
Well, yeah, they announced that they're actually going to, over the next 10 years, probably shut down even more coffee shops and also brothels in Amsterdam. Which, you know, that's not necessarily such a bad thing. You know, the fact that they even can regulate these shops is different from us because it's illegal here. So, in a way, that's why they had it regulated in the first place. So, we'll see how it goes, but it's not necessarily the end of the world.
Right, but I think, you know, some people like to extrapolate the potential consequences based off of this shutdown, where you say, well, at least there's still some, or they might be around. Are we worried that after 10 years they're going to shut them all down?
I don't really think that there's much enthusiasm for that in the Netherlands. Like you pointed out, this is an important part of their tourism, and they also have a system that works very well. You know, the intention all along was to separate marijuana from more dangerous drugs and to have a way of protecting users from arrest, but also from getting an unsafe product. And it's been terrific with that. I don't think that anybody wants to do away with the coffee shops.
Well, Dan, are they shutting down specific shops based off location? Are they trying to confine the cafes and the brothels to a certain area?
Yeah, you know, like you said, the ones that they shut down over the last week were zoning issues, being too close to schools, which might not be such a bad idea. From what I understand, they'll be looking to relocate them to two basic areas in the city, city center. So, well,
Dan, I understand why they would shut them down near schools. I mean, that makes sense, and I agree that's probably a good step. But why shut down the other ones? Why confine them to a small area? Were they becoming a problem for Amsterdam?
Well, you know, it's a little bit curious. Some officials have said that they're concerned about related violent crime, but I'm a little bit skeptical about that. I don't really know that there is a whole lot of violent crime associated with those coffee shops. Another reason that they've said to do it, which maybe makes a little bit more sense, is that they want to alter the image of Amsterdam. They've made it very clear that they don't want to do away with this system for marijuana that's working very well, but they feel like it needs an adjustment. And like I said, they can do that because it's taxed and regulated there. We could never do that here in the U.S.
Right. Yeah. Which is that's a whole other loop for a different day. But you know, when you say that they rely on that image for the tourists, I mean, people aren't. I mean, some are going there for the wooden shoes and the tulips. Yes, I'll give them that. Maybe some art as well. But I mean, let's face it. The bottom line is, you think Amsterdam, you think prostitution and marijuana, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. But is this going to remain a tourist destination, or are people going to try to look elsewhere if there is an elsewhere?
Yeah, you know, I think that it is going to remain. I don't think that there's ever going to be a time when there'll be much enthusiasm for doing away with the coffee shops. They work very well. You know, it's a very good system, and I think that most people in Amsterdam agree that it's a very good system.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that it's not legal here. I mean, most of us know that. You know, last Friday marked the 75th anniversary of the date that alcohol prohibition was actually repealed here in the state. So, I mean, Amsterdam has proved over the last 30 years that marijuana can be tolerated and it can be sort of regulated. So, are we any closer to legalizing the use of it here in America?
Yeah, I think, you know, that more and more Americans are realizing just what a disaster marijuana prohibition has been, and are ready to at least start considering some types of reform. I mean, I'll point out, too, our marijuana use rates are twice what they are in the Netherlands. So, you know, nobody wants to see...
That sounded like an applause line to me. I'm sorry. Please, continue.
No, but yeah, their system works better. But I think that people are realizing that marijuana prohibition is expensive. It victimizes otherwise responsible adults. We arrested 872,000 Americans last year just for small marijuana crimes, and people are getting sick of it now. You know how long it will take until we can have a sensible system in which marijuana is taxed and regulated and controlled the way we do with alcohol or tobacco.
Right, Dan.
I don't know.
Well, I'd love to have you back at a later date and discuss just that, because I think it's high time we do it here. No pun actually intended there. Dan, thank you so much for coming on and keeping us in the loop. I really appreciate your time.